I just got back to my awesome campsite here on Mount St. Helens with my babbling brook and the mountain right there. And on the way back through Cougar, I thought I would impulse buy a few beers. I haven't drank for like just over a week because I kind of a little overdid it when I was at that bluegrass festival like a week ago. So I'm probably only going to have like one, maybe two beers tonight, but I thought it would be a nice splurge. But I have some trailer updates, my tiny home updates. So one big update is that my battery died. It basically died on Mount Rainier. And I didn't really know it at the time. I thought, oh, I've gone like 4 or 5 days without plugging in. I must have just depleted the battery. But I went to a campsite and plugged in for 2 days, and it's still dead. So I need a new battery, and I'm actually kind of dreading pulling it out of the back, like pulling out my mattress and everything else. And yeah, that's going to be a big hassle. And it's this point in time when I'm kind of like, hey, Casita, like, what were you thinking when you put a battery inside of the back of your trailer? Like, for one, you punch a big hole in the trailer so that it vents toxic gases. And then you basically have to rip everything out to get at it. So, kind of a quirky design. I don't know why they did that, but it is what it is. So, I'll have to fix that in the next, well, hopefully soon. But I have one other big update, and I want to show you something. So, I bought this stuff. This is Coco Core, and it comes in this brick. It's a hard brick, and you need to like break pieces off. If I can break, yeah, so you break off pieces, and then here's, and you kind of rub it between your fingers, and you break it all apart until it becomes this mass. And I have a whole bunch in here I can show you. Basically, it's like this. This is Coco Core. And so, if you're wondering why I'm showing you Coco Core, why I would buy it, it's because I have a fantastic new composting toilet. Yay! Let me show you my toilet. I don't know, I honestly don't know what you can see and what you can't see. So let me grab the camera here and show you. Really, I think what kind of makes this toilet, kind of genius is that this model separates the liquids from the solids. So, so basically, if you mix the liquids and the solids together, that makes sewage. But if you just, have the solids, you make compost, and the liquids you can discard separately. So basically, this has two different reservoirs. One for, the liquids, one for the solids. And yeah, okay, let me show you. The toilet looks pretty standard, and when you open it, so there's this little covering that covers it up, and then you have this reservoir. Let's see if I can show it a little bit. So basically, there's the reservoir kind of in the back. That's where the Coco Core goes, right there. And that's where solid waste goes. And then when you come forward, this is where, of course, the liquid waste will go. And basically, each time after I go, I just pour a little water in after as, kind of a flush. And then about once a week, I just clean it as I would clean you know, a regular toilet, I get a little bit of cleaner, you know, and wash it out a little bit. So you can see a little better when I lift it up. So if you lift up the whole thing, you see, so there's a bucket for solids, and then the liquids, they simply they drain out into a regular 1 gallon jug. And so yeah, it just takes a regular 1 gallon jug, and that can either be, you know, a really genius point or not. I like that method because you can just change it out. As far as the liquids, basically every day I empty it out. The only smell that has ever come from the toilet has been from urine. The solids, the poop, has never smelled, and it kind of freaks me out, actually. It's trippy that that's the case. But yeah, so the urine I empty out every single day. I take out the little, you know, the 1 gallon jug, and if I'm in a campground, I just take it up to the toilet and pour it in the toilet. If I'm boondocking out somewhere, I take it out and, you know, pour it far away from the campsite, like at least 100 feet. I never ever, and this is kind of a big deal, you know, you never ever pour any kind of urine or waste into a stream or a body of water or of anything. So that's kind of a big deal. Don't do that, which I never would. If you're kind of out in the desert, I guess they say pour it on a big rock. Yeah, so you can do that. So that's never been an issue for me at all. And again, like I say, the 1 gallon jug could either be genius or, I don't know, kind of cheap. The more expensive model of this toilet actually has a custom made receptacle, but the great thing about the jug is that I usually replace them at least once a week, so the jugs never smell. So yeah, I like being able to replace that jug and get rid of it. As far as the solids go, basically after you go, so you close this up and you close the lid, and then there's this crank, and you turn this like 20 times after you go, and it buries, it mixes up and buries everything in the coca core. And the other thing I wanted to show you is right here. This is kind of the vent hose, and I think that actually keeps like 0 smells. So this vent was on the old toilet and I just reused it. This particular model does not have a fan. The more expensive model does have a fan. I find I don't need it. And again, like, yeah, it's never smelled like that. So I don't know, it's kind of genius, really. I do put toilet paper in there, but I have wet wipes. So what I do is, you know, I use these wet wipes, and I never put these in there. So after I use one of these, I put it into a plastic sandwich baggie, the little Ziploc sandwich baggies, and then I throw those away. So I don't know, that could be kind of a drawback or not. You know, I like to be clean. So I didn't actually install the toilet myself. I didn't feel comfortable, like, basically, you know, there's going to be a hole left in the bottom of the floor where the old, you know, waste hose was. And I didn't feel comfortable, like, trying to seal that up and make the floor solid again. So I went to I had actually called about 10 different places. And basically, virtually every place was like, as soon as I mentioned composting toilet, they're like, we've never done that before, we're not interested. Like, basically, they didn't even want to talk about it. And so I started telling people, I was like, okay, what I want to do is, just rip out my old toilet and replace the floor and make the floor solid. That's all I want you to do. And again, that seemed to be kind of a hassle. I finally found in Portland a place called Rose City RV Restoration and Repair. These guys are great. Actually, they got total 5-star reviews on Yelp. They agreed to do it, but they were so busy in the summer, it took them like a month just to get me on the schedule, to get me in. So they actually ripped out the old toilet, and they found dry rot. So there was some dry rot around where the old hole was for the vent, or for the waste. And they ended up replacing the entire floor, which was really great. I mean, I feel so much better about like knowing that there was dry rot and now it's all repaired. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm glad that I took it to someone else. They also completely resealed the floor in here. So the floor is totally sealed now. And I can feel good about taking a shower. Although I haven't like taken a full-on shower. I have Kim in here when I was boondocking and basically poured water over my head and kind of bathed, you know, kind of a really rudimentary, you know, shower that way by just pouring water over my head and lathering up and then rinsing off. So the toilet itself kind of like is standalone. It's just like one piece, the whole toilet is, and it just basically, it just latches down. There are a few latches here, and it just latches to the floor. So it's a really simple thing. I can take it out if I want to. I don't know if I'd want to. If I'm going to be boondocking for like a week somewhere, I could put it outside of, outside if I wanted to. I don't think I would, but I could. The composting toilet seems to be something that people are really polarized about. There was like a thread on one of the forums, I think it was on Fiberglass RV forum. And yeah, people were like really, really dismissive of it. I'm one of those people that love it. The old toilet I had was only a 5-gallon tank. And, people like think of the composting toilet as really gross. But I don't have a gray water tank. I only had that one 5-gallon, black water tank from the toilet. And basically you take this like sewage, encrusted tube and you hook it up to your RV and you empty it out. And I mean, that's pretty darn gross. And my composting toilet is definitely no grosser than that. So, yeah, I don't know. Basically, like I say, every day I empty the liquids, and then I haven't even used it enough yet to have to empty the compost, but like I've used that several times now, probably half a dozen times, and you can't even see anything in there anymore, because I haven't used it for probably a few weeks now because I was staying at campgrounds, but you can't even see anything in there. There's like no, nothing, like you can't see the toilet paper or anything in there. So I don't know, it's definitely a fact of life. I don't think it's gross, or definitely no grosser than, the black water tank was. So I don't know, I love it, and I'm not limited by the 5 gallons. I can be out for 2 weeks as long as I have water and food. I can be out in the middle of nowhere for as long as I want. So yeah, I love it. I'm a big fan of the composting toilet now. I love this model. It's very simple. So yeah, big fan of simplicity. So I'm going to put a link below, of course, so you can check out the Sea Head yourself. Yeah, so that's it. The battery on my camera is starting to go dead, and because the battery in my trailer's already dead, I need to make dinner sooner than later, since it's kind of a hassle making dinner by flashlight. But yeah, this is how I'm living these days. Last night it got a little cold last night, so I'm probably not any higher than about 2,500 feet, definitely not higher than 3,000 feet, but it was probably about 42 degrees last night. So it was a little chilly, and somewhere in the middle of the night, some critter, some very large critter, brushed up against the side of my trailer right where my head is, back in the back. And I felt him going by and heard him very loudly. And it had to have been a deer of some sort, because I'm pretty sure I heard like kind of the hard pounding of a hoof. So yeah, there's critters out here and they're walking around in the middle of the night. But I'm gonna make dinner and probably sit down by the creek and enjoy a last beer and wait for the sun to go down. I hope you all are enjoying yourselves as much as I am enjoying mine. So, bye.